Welcome to the Inside Out Money Podcast.
Can't even recognize this place. Too many pieces of our past mistakes.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and I believe real change starts from the inside out. So let's work together to improve our money and our lives from the inside out. We will explore all things money and our relationship with it. Join me each week with a rotating set of co-hosts, friends, and interviews. Let's jump in.
It's time, we going round and round and round and round.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Inside Out Money. This is a personal finance podcast focused on redefining wealth from the inside out. Each week, I speak with a rotating set of co-hosts about a different financial topic to help you improve your financial mindset and tactics. And today, I do not have a co-host on. I have all the co-hosts on!
Yay!
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 Hey, Liz.
Hey, Maggie. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Erica. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Sorry.
Oh my God.
Or I'm supposed to
You
say,
say
Honestly,
hey
it
Liz
doesn't really
again,
matter.
and then hey.
As long as you just name
Got it.
someone else, you're fine.
okay.
Yeah. So you say hi to the person and then another hi to
you say hi to the person
another
back
person?
who said hi
Yeah.
to you, and then a new person.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's okay.
It's kind of like a
We did
chain.
another thing, too.
Before we start, it
Right,
doesn't
now-
matter.
now
the
I'm getting
order.
it.
You just name someone other than yourself, and then they'll pass it
Right.
on to someone that has.
I don't know how I
Exactly.
stayed employed for so many years. A slow learner.
I feel like you're a fast learner, personally, but okay. Hey, Liz.
Hey, Maggie. And hey, Greg.
Hey, Liz. And hey, Erica.
Oh, hey, Greg. And hey, Andrew. And hey, Andrew's mustache.
Hey, everyone.
Who's your mustache want to say hi to, Andrew?
Nobody.
All of us. It's got enough volume to say hi to all of us. It's officially December, but Andrew has not yet shaved his Movember mustache, and we're all digging it. We spent like a solid 10 minutes talking about it.
I think it's coming off later today, so the holiday cards can get taken.
Oh,
Pictures
okay.
can get taken.
Well, goodbye, Mr.
I
Stash.
say it's part of the family now. I mean, I really
Yeah.
don't even know your family, but this is just all I can imagine.
Yeah, I'd vote it should be in the photo.
Is that mustache, like, can you write it off as a dependent on your taxes?
Will the mustache make the top 2023 list when we go through some of our favorites? We'll see.
It could. What's been great is I had lots of customer meetings the last couple weeks, and I was meeting lots of new customers for the first time, so I had to do a lot of explaining.
Yeah. Well, the best part is if you just don't explain. Just let them think that's just.
I was
who you
speaking
Yeah.
to an audience of people at work, and I didn't explain it, and my team stopped me and had me explain it.
are. Okay. I'm so excited to have everybody here today. This is the first time all of the Inside Out Money co-hosts, all 5 of us, have been on the pod together.
It's historic.
It's exciting.
It is. Yeah. What's your word? You got a word, Erica and Greg? What's your word for this? Historic, exciting.
Oof.
Oof. That's your word. Okay, Greg. What's
Oof. That's my word.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Oof, sheesh. Historic and exciting. Excellent. We're gonna just recap 2023. We've got a few loose agenda items for this discussion. We're gonna go through some of our favorites for the year. Wait, Erica, we didn't introduce everyone, right? Okay, so we're just gonna jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go through a bunch of favorites today. We're gonna do some of our favorite books, some of our favorite podcasts, some of our favorite purchases, some of our least favorite purchases. We're also gonna do some of the kind of big financial news of 2023. And then we'll also share some fun podcast stats at the end. So hopefully you'll stick around for that.
I can't wait to find out how. I want to know what the most popular episode of Inside Out Money was.
You want to know if it's one of your episodes, don't you?
Yeah, obviously.
Well, you were once the most popular episode, but we'll save it till the end to let you know who bumped you or which mustache bumped you. Spoiler alert.
That's not
Okay.
fair. I don't have one.
Mm.
Okay, so speaking of mustaches, favorite books of the year. That has nothing to do with mustaches, to be clear. But we should start with mustache because, Andrew, you've been having like a bromance with.
I definitely still have a man crush on Morgan. Morgan Housel, author of Psychology of Money, definitely my favorite book of the year.
Have you read Same as Ever yet?
No, I have not, because it's sitting here on my desk. It's been a little bit crazy, a couple of weeks. I gotten through just a couple of chapters of it. The first couple of chapters were awesome, and I look forward to reading it on my Christmas break.
Everyone's distracted, Andrew, because every time Greg takes a sweatshirt off, he basically takes his entire shirt off. Sometimes we're in public and I'm like, are you about to undress? But he just did it. I'm just laughing at Liz. Like,
I'm pretty sure I saw a nipple.
I mean, I muted myself, and so I kind of thought that was
Greg, you're supposed to turn the screen off. You can't just mute your. You got to turn the screen off.
That's such a
Greg's
man
been out of the
thing.
workforce for a little while. Yeah,
That does not happen to women. We know how to take one shirt off.
I'm able to keep the bottom layer on myself when I take the top. No, every time he takes his top off, it's always like, I'm always like, wait, is it all coming off? Okay, Andrew.
Sorry, Andrew.
Greg's nudity was distracting me. So
we're back to Morgan.
Same as ever. Yeah.
Same
Speaking
as
of
ever.
nudity, Morgan Housel, you got a bromance crush on him.
Yes, first couple chapters of Same as Ever were great. I look forward to finishing it over the next couple weeks.
I'm excited to listen to it. I have it on Audible, and I'm going to talk about it with you. I will tell you, I kind of started listening to it, and it was like kind of a slow start. Like, it didn't pull me. I don't know what it is, but I was kind of like, and then I like switched to another book.
I think the thing with Morgan, and I find this with his podcast, you kind of need to be paying attention. You can't be like one of these just like, I'm just going to be listening to it. Like he gets very deep, and the content is very, I feel like I've got to be focused when I'm listening to him.
Yeah, that's fair. I admittedly may have been multitasking. It might have been like cleaning the house or something. Okay, Liz, what are some of your favorites?
Oh, I read 2 books this year that changed my mindset, which I feel like you're lucky to get one in a year.
Mm-hmm.
But one was called Outlive. It's really popular. It's like pastels on the cover with a tiny little man. And
it's Peter Attia, right?
Attia, right?
Yes, thank you. Because I was just thinking like, oh, don't remember. Oh, well. And I think there's a bunch of books about longevity now. It's kind of a hot topic, like blue zones, etc. But this one I really liked because it wasn't like buy my diet plan, buy my supplements kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my biggest takeaway was that like you kind of have to aim high. So that book changed my mindset to make me think if I want to be walking like 3 miles when I'm 80, I don't walk 3 miles today every day to get there. I need to be like doing 10-mile trail runs today because you're inevitably going to degrade, your body will.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really been inspiring to me. And then the second one, I have 2, sorry I cheated. It was called Stolen Focus, and I forget the name of the author.
It's favorites, by the way, so you can have more than one.
Oh, good.
There's an S on there. I forgot to put yes, favorites.
I've got 10 more then. No. I think, so it's called Stolen Focus. I think probably all of us have had some moment of, I spend too much time on my phone. How can I change this? And one of his big theses is, it's not about individual willpower. These apps and the way phones work should be federally regulated. And it just really changed my mindset about phones and focus and distraction.
Yeah, that's cool. I have read Stolen Focus. It's been a little while. I have not read Outlive, but I bought it on Audible. And I'll buy certain things on Audible because I think I want to listen to them repeatedly versus doing them like at the library.
Yeah, I would do that one again for sure. It was good.
I'm kind of scared to read Outlive because I feel like I already do a lot and think about a lot, and it's gonna like take away the few pleasures I have left in life.
I think I had something of an opposite experience. Like I was like, oh, I'm doing really good.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll feel that way then.
I've watched a bunch of his stuff on YouTube. I really like some of his interviews that he's done. The Lance Armstrong one was very good. But yeah, I like his style. So I'll definitely try and put that on my list for next year.
Cool. Okay, Erica, what you got?
Well, I'm a slow reader anyway, and I've spent this year reading more finance books than I ever thought I would read in my life. And the only one that really resonated with me was this one called Finance for the People by Paco de Leon. And it's based on kind of like how to get yourself in a place financially, acknowledging that there are inequities in the world. And so not everyone's starting at the same place. But this one really, she just spelled it out. She said, everyone's weird about money. Let's figure out why and go from there. And it's just a fun read, which is weird for a finance book, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to gift it to a couple people because it's something I wish that I had had when I was like in my early 20s. But then I cheated too, like Liz. My favorite nonfiction book of this year was The Light Pirate, which was kind of a near future climate change disaster book, but also very beautiful in a way, which... So a lot of feelings going on with that.
Is there an actual pirate or is it a metaphor?
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor, and it's like a double entendre metaphor. There are multiple forms of light pirate that you'll figure out throughout the book.
I read the book based on Erica's recommendation, loved it, but now I'm like, wait, did I catch the multiple references or, metaphors to pirates? And then for a minute, I thought you were going to say there was a real pirate, and I was like, oh shit, I missed it.
No real pirate. Yep. You were probably listening to a financial book on Audible while reading Light Pirate.
Right. I was multitasking my book reading. But it was really good. I mean, I was like one of those books where I like couldn't wait to get back to it and was sad when it was over and felt incredibly connected to the characters. And that to me is a good book. Great, Rick. Okay, Greg, what do you got? You read books?
I don't. I listen to books.
You're handsome and you read books. Okay.
Well, yes, I listen. I read a book once, but it's been a long time. But I tend to listen to fiction, and so my favorite book / series of books was The Silent Corner, or the Jane Hawk series by Dean Koontz. He's sort of a horror writer, similar to Stephen King in some ways, I guess is the closest equivalent. And this book series is pretty dark. It is about a kind of a plot. Oh. Well, no pirates in this, but there is a government cabal of high-ranking corporate executives and government leaders.
What's a cabal?
A cabal is like a group of bad guys.
Oh, okay, like a gang.
It's like a very high-level smart bad guys, I think, though, from how I think about it. But
so kind of like
said
pirates,
this is fiction. Because it sounds
sounds
could
real.
be nonfiction.
Well, yeah, it does sound somewhat real, and so that's what makes it so. Except that, so fast forward, that basically they're injecting these nanoparticles in people that take over their brains, and then they can then control people and make them do terrible stuff. And they're trying to, in essence, take over the world and make it better by eliminating people that are trying to damage the New World Order. And it's very dark and kind of depressing, but also moments of lightness. And it's just a very compelling book series that I sort of got really into and listened to 5 of the 6. I've got one left and I'm sort of savoring it.
My takeaway was dark and depressing.
Well, I think you just described the plot of the COVID vaccines with Bill Gates putting the 5G chips into everyone's vaccine.
Yeah. Here's what's interesting. He wrote these in 2017. Had he written them post-COVID, I would think, oh, this guy is a conspiracy, he's a COVID conspiracy theorist, because so much of it is like some of those theories. But since it was written pre-COVID, I think it's just a good plot. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's very eerie in some ways.
Sounds interesting.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I like live in the house with you, but I didn't know you were this excited about this series. Okay, I'll wrap us up on books with, I also enjoyed The Psychology of Money, which is by Morgan Housel and Andrew mentioned. I liked Die with Zero. It wasn't like my favorite book, but what I liked about it was similar to Liz's point earlier. It was a book where, it could have just been like a blog post. I think did we say that, Liz? Yes. But
many times.
Could have been a very short blog post. But either way, the spirit of that, the spirit of a lot of the points in it did have a meaningful impact on my kind of day-to-day mentality and mindset around how I'm spending money and quite honestly, like in an interesting time of my life in early retirement, how Greg and I are spending our money and feeling more comfortable spending our money in a time when it's psychologically hard to, because we quit these high paying jobs and now are living off what we've saved. And so it was a meaningful book to me in that sense. Also, Simple Path to Wealth was similar. Like I already knew all that stuff, but it was just like a book I should have read 10 years ago. And Andrew, I think I mentioned this when we talked about it, but you actually sent me that book right when I launched Friends on Fire. And I admittedly was just busy and I was working then and everything else and never read it, but I was very familiar with it. And, so I finally read it, which was, exciting thing to happen this year. Great book. And then, on a personal level, but these are not financial related, but nonfiction. Ryan Holiday's book. I love all of Ryan Holiday's books. They're about like stoicism and kind of related topics, but his book, Stillness is the Key. I think that's the name of it. Really good. Read it this year. And right now I'm actually listening to Discipline is Destiny, which is another one of his books. And I really like it. And like Andrew and I have talked about this, like discipline or deprivation kind of topic. And I just love that book. I'm I don't know, a fifth of the way through it, and it's fantastic.
I'll have to put that on the list.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. I think everybody would like it, but Andrew, I think you in particular would like it.
I have so many tabs open now.
I know. Well, if it's helpful for you, Liz, and for everybody listening, I will do a very clean show notes with like all of our recommendations. So you don't feel like you or anyone listening need to take notes. But I will tell you just a really cool quote from The Discipline is Destiny that I liked because of this whole sort of concept of like discipline and deprivation that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Is at one point he says, discipline isn't deprivation because it brings rewards. And I just really like that because, you think often when we think about financial stuff and we feel like we're depriving ourselves, on the concept of just having discipline about how we spend our money and handle our money, it isn't depriving ourselves because there's great rewards that come from being disciplined with your finances. And you could, argue Greg and I are reaping the benefits of those rewards right now. And actually all of you are, because you all have great, freedom in your finances in many ways because you've been disciplined at different times.
I was thinking that. I was like, only Maggie and Greg? I guess the rest of us are no.
I just meant like in early. I meant we're enjoying our early retirement, but you guys mentally
teasing
can enjoy and like not stress about a lot of things because you have options because you've reached some level of financial security.
I would like to say something about that though, because I still feel like a little kid who's trying to figure it all out. Like I'm just like diving in and all credit to the landlord. He was just had a different sense. Like his frugality is like sometimes a contentious point, and my sometimes being too free with money. We're trying to find the balance there, but I still feel like a kid who's just like, I shouldn't spend my money on this random thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things, quite honestly, that I love about doing this podcast with all of you is I think we're all at different places, and come from different places and are kind of at different stages of things. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think you should feel like a kid, but I don't want to tell you how to feel. Right. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that feeling even of, I don't know how to word it, but of, you feel like you're still kind of learning how to do certain things. And also just, your mindset.
Even the fact that you're paying attention to it and you're thinking about it and you're putting some focus on it and making mindful choices versus mindless choices means you have graduated to the adult table.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you do make mindful choices because we've had such deep conversations on the podcast. Like you're thinking about this stuff, right? Like you might still do, even when I do things where I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't have bought that. I'm still thinking about it. Like I'm not just I'm not mindlessly moving through my life, not considering all the choices I'm making. And I think a lot of people are. And so yes, I agree with Liz. Like you've graduated to, using your own words, the adult table because
Those
you
were
are
Liz's
thinking
words.
about that. Well, I know, but you started it with saying that you're a kid.
Yes.
So she was just finishing the metaphor.
And one thing, actually, thank you for all the praise there. That's really what I was looking for, was just straight validation. But
well, no. Does the mustache have any validation to give her?
No, Andrew's like, if you don't have a 17.
One thing that's been nice is that I can help other people think about, like, I think about it when other people like, should I get this? And I'm really good at like a lot of us are, we're good at kind of talking other people down from things or talking them through things. And so I've been able to help to just think about it in a different way. For example, Maggie, like right before you were going to retire and we were on a girls trip and we walked into this store in Durango and you said, oh, I've always wanted one of these. Do you remember what that thing was? It was one of those little koozie that's like a vest or a sweater. And I was like, why has this always been on your list of things to want and you're about to retire? Like, no, I'm not letting you buy this. But then I bought them for you and Greg for your retirement because that seemed perfect. And you probably completely forgot that you even said that. But I was like, this is the dumbest thing you could spend your money on right now.
What's funny is I didn't forget that you gave me those for my retirement. I did forget that I said I wanted those in a store in Durango, but we use them all the time. I love having a little coat for my beer.
Yeah, that would be an amazing context. These things showed up and Maggie goes, oh, these are our graduation gift from America.
Was
no
it a
explanation.
Gift?
I mean, sorry, retirement gift, but no context of why we have.
Because I forgot
I think they're really cool, but I think had she made that context of like, oh, and I
thought you were just sending me something nice, like I like.
But we do use them frequently, Erica.
She was probably like, "Well, Erica wasted her money on these."
There goes Erica acting like a kid.
It had
again,
like a real full circle,
jackets.
meaningful moment for you because I basically slapped it out of your hand in Durango. Like, don't do this. This is dumb.
Well, thank you for doing that. What's funny is something that I said I wanted, I didn't even remember. So that's how like flippant these wants and desires can be, which I think is interesting. Okay, let me finish up books real quick because I just want to like shout out a couple fiction books that I loved. Okay. We already talked about The Light Pirate. That was one of my favorites. Demon Copperhead. Anyone else read that? One of my favorite fiction books of the year. Awesome.
I don't read any fiction.
It wasn't too heavy? Like, I keep snoozing it on Libby because I'm like, I'm just not in the mood for this.
Well, it was heavy, but so was The Light Pirate. I don't think it was any heavier than The Light Pirate. Maybe it was a little. And also Mad Honey. Both of those were great. Fantastic. Highly recommend. Worth getting into the fiction genre for, Andrew.
Reading fiction is really good for you.
It's a nice escape.
Maybe Andrew, can you listen to stuff when you ride your bike, or do you, for safety, do you not have headphones?
For safety, I don't typically.
Okay. I was going to say, because that would give you like a lot of time to listen to fiction.
Yeah.
I also imagine that when you ride your bike, Andrew, you're going so fast you just can't hear anything. You're just
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is that not?
The sound of the wind is so fast. Okay. Should we move on to our favorite podcast?
Yeah.
And I mean, not my goodness, if one of you doesn't say Inside Out Money, I'm kidding.
I'm listening to a live recording of my favorite podcast right now.
You don't have to name it because you're on it. Okay, we'll go. Let's switch up the order. Erica, what you got?
Well, obviously this one, and not just because you said that, because I did write it in the show notes. This one. But also I'm a huge like comedy nerd, so I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. My new favorite one is Handsome with Tig Notaro, Fortune Feimster, and Mae Martin. That's been my fave. And then Smartless, and then also Political Junkie, so Pod Save America.
Love it. Okay, Greg, what you got?
Well, I do also like comedy podcasts and have always loved Conan O'Brien's podcast. And another one that's pretty funny is How Did This Get Made? Although they don't make too many episodes of that now. Another one that's sort of my new favorite that Maggie and I both listen to together is called Heavyweight. And it's another one that's sort of winding down, but it's a really neat podcast where he interviews people and they talk about some situation where they wonder how something might have been, how it might have turned out. And he helps them figure that out by going back and talking to other people in their lives or almost trying to redo something. And it's kind of funny, but it's also poignant and just a nice listen that usually is pretty enlightening and uplifting.
It's like a cool mix of like, it's funny because the host is really funny. And it's like a little bit of investigative journalism, but on like small matter, like personal people's stories and like, some like estranged brother that they or friend that they haven't talked to. And they knew there was some falling out, but they weren't really sure what it was over. And so he then goes and like talks to all these people and sometimes reconnects people. Anyways, it is good. And Greg and I listen to it as we're going to bed at night. So most of the time I fall asleep and then I wake up and I'm like, ooh, what happened? Because I like only caught the first 10 minutes. Okay. Liz, what you got?
A new one for me this year was called Cash Cuties. And Maggie, you were a guest on Cash Cuties.
I listened to that episode. That's how I got introduced to them.
I think I was a guest on it because of you, because I think you were
I did recommend you. They were looking for a financial independent retire early person, and I was like, I know one of those. But they're so funny. Their shtick, it's like two co-hosts and they invite on not usually other sort of financial creators, usually just like regular people, and then you have to submit your credit card statements ahead of time and then they critique your spending habits. It's so good.
I would be mortified.
Oh, that would be good. Erica, we should do an episode where I do that.
We should do an episode for all of us do that.
My gosh,
that's
totally.
a great idea. Tell
we
me
all
when
review
so I can
Erica's?
monitor my spending.
No, it's a surprise.
No, you got to pick we do a randomizer month, right? So
that's a good
you
idea.
won't know which month it's going to be.
Yeah, that's good. And one of the Cash Cuties is a professional comedian. So, they're both really funny people naturally, but one of them is, proven to be funny, I guess. I don't know how you say
One of them gets paid to be funny.
Yeah, he gets paid to be funny.
Yeah, they're both good, though. I liked that one.
Okay, Andrew?
No shock here. Morgan Housel, he started a podcast this year, so I love his podcast.
They're super short, too. They're like 15-minute episodes.
They're short,
kind of
15
like
minutes.
Liz's.
Yes, very digestible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, I was surprised. I also noticed none of you put Liz Gets Loaded on your favorite podcast.
Hello, I haven't gone yet.
Oh, Andrew, I know that you listen to every episode.
I do.
Well, we said favorites, Liz, not what you listen to. So.
Oh,
I'm just
ouch.
kidding. Don't worry,
Oh
I'm gonna
my
come back. I'm gonna come back around and clean that up. I'm just messing
If
around.
I can just come back, so reading fiction expands our capacity for empathy. So maybe a little more fiction in 2024.
I love the Liz Gets Loaded podcast. It's my turn now, so I'm going. So one of my favorite podcasts. I actually, interestingly, don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm not even just saying this to make up for the bad joke I just made. You are one of the only podcasts I actually listen to, Liz Gets Loaded, because I like hearing what's going on with you. And they're like short and digestible, like Morgan Housel's. And I mostly listen to books lately. I don't know why, but like when I do listen to podcasts, I still like Rich Roll. Greg, I'm surprised you didn't mention that because that's, I feel like, one of your favorites too. And he just interviews, like they're like long form, like 2-hour interviews. So it's a lot. It's a big commitment. But he had on Arthur Brooks as one of my favorite podcasts of the year. I'll put it in the show notes. I think I referenced it in another one. I also like We Can Do Hard Things with Glennon and Abby, and they interview fun people too.
Can I just say one more thing about Morgan? I'm going to go one step further and say what my favorite episode is. I've talked about this before. Morgan Housel did an episode. It's 11 minutes long. It's called Respect and Admiration. And it is the best 11 minutes of financial content I've ever listened to. It had probably more of an effect on me than anything. And it's the premise is what you're actually looking for in life is respect and admiration. And it's about, if you were to write your obituary, what would you want on it? And so it's a great umbrella for all the stuff, all the money does not make any difference at all. Like no one's talking about how much money they had or the car they drove in their obituary, right? Yeah. They're talking about respect and admiration. And so it's such a good episode. I highly recommend it to everyone. And it's only 11 minutes.
I agree. And if you're listening on a fast speed, it's like 5.5 minutes. It's really, I mean, it's one of those where I agree. Like when I heard it, I haven't done this, but when I heard it, I remember saying like, I need to go back and re-listen to this once a week, just because I need my own reminders. Like I know what's important to me, but sometimes you get off track, you get distracted.
That was good. I agreed.
I listened to that one because I heard on this podcast, you both go on about it. I listened to it twice because I felt like I was missing something, because I think that there's this idea that I think it's a little, I may not be using this right, but there's like a little bit of a straw man argument sometimes in the personal finance space where people are like, I just care about having a happy life, unlike all those other people out there who only care about having a fancy car and nice clothes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure there are people out there who are like, I am getting all of my joy in life from my fancy car.
Well, two things. It's like a yes and. I agree with you on the sense of like, I really liked the episode, but like it is making a point that is very common, which is like, look, I just saw something on Instagram about like, Steve Jobs on his deathbed, right? He wasn't like talking about, he had all the money in the world, right? He was talking about the other things that mattered and that were important. And most people on their deathbed have these realizations of, what really matters. But the and point is, I know people who won't admit it, but they spend a lot of their life and their choices and day-to-day decisions focused on things that are material and that get them in debt and that they can't afford and all sorts of things. And then I know other people who will blatantly admit it. I remember talking to like someone at work years ago, and she was like, yeah, I can never do it. I care about having really nice, I like expensive dinners. I like nice things. And I like nice things too. But she was sort of saying to like, that is her priority in life, was to like marry wealthy, to be able to have nice things, like all these things. And so I think there's some people that feel that way and will admit it. And then I think there's some people that, or go ahead, Erica.
Well, to Liz's point, she was saying that, that doesn't necessarily invoke the joy. It sounds like it's masking something else. There's superficiality. So there are people who admit it, but those are the things like every time you get in your car, you're like, oh, yes, this is what makes me most happy. Let's just turn on the radio, turn on the windshield wipers. I'm just going up in my dopamine hit right now, versus like exactly what Andrew's saying, like that's not the stuff that you're going to be like, and she died with her windshield wipers going full blaze and was as happy as she's ever been in her very fancy car,
Can we just talk about how you're referring to windshield wipers as the fancy part? I think all cars have windshield wipers. I think it's from
But are they auto sensing? Are they auto sensing windshield wipers?
Heated seat,
are they heated?
Well, and did she die of a heart attack while driving? And maybe she did die happy in her
Maybe.
during
and
a
it's
rainstorm.
probably
So
because I
her-
still drive my 25-year-old Lexus, and no matter how often we replace the blades, they always suck. And so, like, I won't drive it in the rain. I don't like driving it at night.
I honestly forgot what we were talking about, but did we at all address what your point was, Liz?
It's all, I mean, I think, yeah. He does go in the example of the fancy car a lot. And maybe I was feeling sensitive as someone who bought a fancy car this year. But I was like, I didn't buy this fancy car because I like the way other people feel at the stoplight when they look at me. Like, I enjoy these massaging seats quietly and privately to myself.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we talk about this all the time. We have a fancy car too, and I don't even think Teslas are considered fancy anymore because they're pretty affordable compared to other cars. But we like it. Yes, it brings us joy. Greg talks about all the time how happy that car makes him. But I think the difference is when you can identify if you couldn't afford that car. And I think, Liz, if you couldn't afford that car, you'd be okay. You'd still be a whole person. You'd choose something more within your budget, but you can afford it. And I think that's sometimes, to me, the big difference is.
Yeah. We'll have to, I think it's just a good thought provoking. I mean, it stirred a lot of conversation and controversy. So we'll definitely link that one in the show notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You'll have to listen to it and let us know what you think. Like Andrew said, it's a super quick listen. Okay.
Should we just take a break and listen right now?
Well,
play it in the middle of the episode.
Yeah. It was actually a perfect segue to talking about our favorite purchases and products of the year because, of course, things make you happy. So what made us happy this year? I'm just kidding about things make you happy, but sometimes they do. Like a cool thing that like does something interesting and adds some value to your life can make you happy. So, Andrew, what made you happy this year? I can't pronounce and I had to go Google. I had never heard of it before.
I love this product.
What is it?
It is a rice maker.
Can you say the full name, please?
It's a Zojirushi.
Neurofuzzy.
And
that was the funny part.
it's the Neurofuzzy model.
I was like, what's a Neurofuzzy?
Yeah, you got it. So Zojirushi is the brand, and then the Neurofuzzy is the model. And this thing has a cult following. It's like a time machine because it's designed like it's straight out of the 80s, and it's totally Japanese design. And I've never had a rice cooker before. I've always made rice on the stovetop, never had a rice cooker in my 46 years. And I got this thing and I was blown away by literally you get perfect rice with a single push of a button. And it has been life-changing.
Do you have to measure the water you put into it?
Yes, but you have to measure the water, but it has these really simple lines on the bowl where you just put in 4 cups of rice and put the water in. You got to rinse the rice. I learned that. And I use sushi rice, so short grain cal roast rice from Costco. And it turns out awesome rice every time. No, you don't have to worry about anything. You just hit the button and in approximately 30 to 40 minutes, you have perfectly cooked rice.
I'm fascinated by this. We cook rice in an Instant Pot. So I'm curious if is it comparable to that or?
Yeah, the Instant Pot is also pretty good. I have not tried it. I don't have an Instant Pot, but I love this. And then I started making rice cakes with it for when I'm riding on the bike. And so the rice cakes are super good on the bike. And I love it.
Is a rice cake just rice?
No, it's a mixture of rice and cream cheese. The cream cheese is the binder, and then I add all kinds of stuff to it. So like I do mint chocolate chip rice cakes, I do Oreo rice cakes, I did bacon and egg rice cakes, all kinds of flavors. So like just cream cheese and rice is kind of like the canvas, and then you can put whatever you want in them.
That sounds so much better than the rice cakes like our moms grew up with in the diet culture of like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, the like paper one.
Yeah.
I thought
Oh
you
no,
like
these are
dehydrated
super
rice.
calorie No. These are super these aren't like Rice Krispies. These are super calorie dense.
He's trying to do the opposite of the old school rice cakes. He's actually trying to consume massive amounts of calories.
Right, exactly.
I would like to say for if anyone's trying to save money or not, I am a huge fan of rice cookers. I've had multiple versions over the years. Can't believe you are just now getting one, but I'm so glad you have one in your life because it's amazing. We make a lot of Asian food, and so having a good rice cooker. However, we tried it once in the Instant Pot, and it was just as good, if not better, than the actual rice cooker. And so because we had 2 big items, we ended up giving away our rice cooker to a friend. So you don't need to go out if you have an Instant Pot, but if you want a rice cooker, and Andrew's endorsing this one, but in general, rice cookers are the best.
Yeah, I think everything you were describing, you were like, you just push one button. I was like, that's all rice cookers. Welcome to having a rice cooker.
Welcome to the world of rice cookers, right?
It's so great how everyone comes to things at like different phases in their life. Like Maggie, you're kind of mad at Andrew because he didn't share like the beauty of investing through index funds when you two knew each other when you were younger. And Andrew, I think you should be a little mad at Maggie for not telling you about rice cookers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like those
like
are
I'm
not
like, who has not told me?
equal in, their value to your life, though. Like, I'm sorry.
You know
it's
how
been
much more
hard for you
enjoyment
to
I would
cook
have had
rice.
for the last 20 years of having a
Do you
rice
know how
cooker?
much more money I would
mean-
have? I could have bought you. we could have I could have just had rice delivered to you every day, so you don't ever have to
hired
push the
a chef
button.
to come
I could have
to
hired
you.
a professional rice cake chef to come make you custom delicatesse. I don't know what the word is. Luxury rice cake.
Well, it took me I went to a friend's house who's Chinese, and they had one of these on their countertop, and I had the rice out of it. I was like, whoa, all right, this is a lot better than what I'm cooking at home.
And so much easier too. The one button, it's all just in how you rinse, how well you rinse the rice, and then, the fingertip measurement for the water.
So does rice washing make a big difference? Do you think?
Yeah.
Is that like a real key to the quality?
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg, are you saying this because the other day I told you not to worry about the fact that we forgot to wash the rice? I was like, no,
I wasn't
baby,
going to mention
you're
that,
good.
but yeah, I was.
It definitely is better.
What happens if you don't wash the rice?
Your house blows up.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, dude.
Your stocks all go to zero.
It's slightly less fluffy.
Oh, okay. Sorry for your less than fluffy rice experience. Next time we'll get you some neuro fuzzy rice, Greg.
Okay, thanks.
I just really like the name Neuro Fuzzy because
Me
I know,
too.
it's
That's
very
the best
interesting.
why?
It's
But
probably a
into
bad
it-
translation, maybe, right?
Actually,
You know?
no, it's not a bad translation. I Googled it this morning when I saw this in here, and I read all about the technology in the rice cooker, and it does things that the Instant Pot can't do. It senses the
heat of the bowl.
the neurons.
And then how much water is left.
Yeah,
And
the fuzziness of the
Fascinating.
neurons, exactly. Just what Andrew said. Okay, Greg, Neurofuzzy, what's your favorite purchases this year?
So the two that stood out were one of my smallest and my largest purchases. So on the small purchase side, it was a simple MagSafe wallet for my phone. I've always had a wallet, and they feel funny when you sit on them. You have all these random credit cards in them you don't really need. So I finally got a 3-card MagSafe wallet to go on the back of my phone, and I carry 3 cards now, my license and 2 credit cards, and it's great. I took it on our trips this summer, and I guess our most recent trip, and it was nice just having a small wallet, and I feel like I always know where it is. And so that was my small purchase. And then my large, we've talked about this in one of our prior episodes, but was getting LASIK surgery. The other day, it was big investment, but the other day I was just thinking about it. I think we were in Portugal, and we got up and we were looking at the ocean first thing in the morning, and I was just like, man, it is so cool to just wake up and have perfect vision and not have to carry all the crap with you when you travel.
that's a good one.
Yeah. I like your MagSafe wallet also, Greg, and your new eyes, which I don't get to appreciate as much as you do, but my driver I don't carry my own stuff. I'm incapable of having wallets or credit cards on me at any time. So Greg's usually in charge of my driver's license. So it takes up when we go out, he has to hold that. Then he only has room for 1 credit card. So there's just less
Is
room
it a
for my
Diners
crap.
Club card?
No, it's just my no, but that was funny.
Greg, I hope you charge Maggie a fee for that.
No, he's so sweet too. He always carries my chapstick, and he never complains about it. I know.
Oh my goodness.
He never
Maggie,
he
you're
never
too good.
says oh, why don't you carry something that would hold all your stuff? And he never reminds me of the invention of a purse or anything.
Oh, well, Maggie takes care of me in so many other ways. So
What is this, couples therapy? Let's move on.
You only need one. You only need one of you. We're the same way. We walk out the door and I'm like, do you have keys and a wallet? Great. I just trust that you were going to drive me around and take care of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, what else is the purpose of being married or having a partner? Just kidding. I love you, Greg, for many other reasons besides you being a human wallet.
And the fact that you take your shirt off all the time.
Yeah. And the fact that you undress in public when removing a sweatshirt.
a publicly stripping human wallet.
Yeah. Okay. Liz, speaking of publicly stripping human wallets, what were your favorite things this year?
Speaking of that, not at all. But I did borrow Greg's idea of like a big purchase and a small purchase. So the small one related Apple AirTags for my AirPods and my keys. So you can go on your phone and make those things make a sound so you never have to look for them again. I guarantee you I have saved hours of my life digging around trying to find my keys.
How do you attach it to your AirPods? Like, does it stick to it?
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy you asked me that.
Oh.
Because this is such a win for the year. I almost created a category for us of like something I didn't buy that I'm happy about. Because I was looking online for, they make these little cases that you put your AirPods in and then there's a spot to put the AirTag, right? And I was like, just having a moment where I was like, I don't want to spend $13 on this piece of plastic that's going to exist in the earth forever just for this. And so I grabbed a rubber band and I just attached the air tag to my AirPods case with a rubber band, and it's been going strong for 6 months. And every time I look at it, I'm like, I am a genius.
Well played.
Very
Well
nice. I
played.
like it.
Anyways, that was
I've thought about, I don't have any AirTags.
Me
I've
too.
thought about getting
Oh,
them.
good.
Yeah.
For the luggage or like when I'm shipping my bike or something.
Oh, you should totally do it for your bike. I never knew what I'd use them for.
People put them, they hide them in the bike so that if
Yeah.
the bike ever gets stolen, then you can find them. So I've definitely thought about getting some. So Liz, you're a fan.
Put it on your list for Santa, because especially with a big purchase like a bike, you know, the little amount that you might spend on an AirTag is probably well worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Also, if you shave that
Mhm.
mustache today, Crystal might buy you an AirTag
true.
as a thank you present.
And then you can attach one to your mustache so you can find it later if you miss it, you know?
Well, they're very reasonable. They're only, I think you get a 4-pack for $100. And I bought them after.
Mhm.
Do you remember last Christmas? It was like Snowmageddon plus Southwest had their like epic meltdown. And I think so many people were talking about
Yeah.
how their luggage got lost and they had no idea where it was. And so I bought a 4-pack, a couple for our luggage, and then keys and AirPods in there. I didn't know that you can make sound, which is so great. Like I knew that you could find stuff, but you can make them beep. That's
I didn't know that.
that's what's so great about them. When
I can never find my AirPods. I might need this.
Well, no, I was just wondering if you put them in your luggage, it's like its own low jack, like you can find it anywhere and track it from your phone.
As long as it's near, if it went to like the middle of nowhere, it wouldn't track. It has to be like near other Apple users. Even they don't even need to know it, but it just needs to be near them, because that's kind of what it picks up off of, is other iPhones being around.
Right. It doesn't have its own cell signal. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Liz, didn't you lose your wallet last year?
I'm sure I lost my wallet. But you might be thinking I did lose my car keys for like 7 months.
Okay, it was the car
No.
key. It was the car keys. I remember you talking about that you were like, I'm not
I
paying
thought you
for
lost
another
your
set of
entire
car keys. They will
wallet.
eventually turn up.
I did lose my wallet recently for like a week or two, but then I found it was in the car.
you found
But
it.
I lost
Yeah.
Yes, I lost my car keys
The car
for
keys,
7
how
months.
long?
And then they were just in a little basket full of like dog toys and like dog bags in my house.
Yeah.
See, now that
But
can't
now
happen
that can
anymore.
never happen again because I have AirTags.
Nice.
Thanks. Nice. All right,
Anyways,
I'm putting that on the
Sorry,
list.
that was a small thing. And then very briefly, my big purchase that I literally did like multiple podcast episodes. Like I would not shut up on Instagram about thinking about this purchase. And I finally bought my Peloton row, and it's a rower and I love it. And I just got off of it right before this, which is why I'm glad it's not a video podcast because I'm still all sweaty. And it feels so good. Like when I'm on that thing and you get in a rhythm, it's a workout. It feels like you're flying. Or if you really like swimming, it's kind of the same sensation of
Mm-hmm.
swimming. I just really love it.
I'm glad you love it, because I know you were like debating it for a long time. And I think when you make a big purchase like that and then you feel really good about it, like it just feels nice, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Maggie?
You know, I actually thought long and hard about this. And then I was like asking Greg earlier. I really couldn't think of any big purchases this year. The only thing I could think of was I bought paint and repainted our deck, and I really like the like new color and kind of the look of the deck now. It's like a pretty dramatic transformation, I think.
It looks
thanks.
great.
You've
Nice
not seen
job,
it,
Maggie.
but thank you. Oh no, you saw some photos. Sorry. Okay.
I've
all
seen all the,
saw it
I
on
saw the
Instagram.
pictures of it.
I thought you meant
I
like-
mean, the entire world saw you
I thought
painting
you
your
were just
deck all
being
summer.
funny. That
Yes.
I was like, of course it looks good.
No.
You're right. Yeah.
I thought it
I
was
still haven't
great.
finished painting it, in full disclosure. I've got a lot of work left on it, on the parts that you can't see from the front. But I was just like happy with that purchase. And I can't think of Anything else? I mean, I bought a pair of sweatpants recently in Portugal that I really love. And they weren't Vuori. Who linked this to Vuori?
Oh, I put that in.
I mean, I like my Vuori sweatpants, but I already had those. I bought a pair of, they're from like a Rip Curl store.
Oh, I've been trying to save you time and put as many links as I can find in the show notes.
I texted you and was like, thank you. This is super helpful.
Oh, I didn't see.
It's super helpful. No, I bought a pair of like Rip Curl, but like oversized sweatpants that I like all my kids have them. They're like, not this brand, but they just have like oversized sweatpants and they're like really comfortable to put on a pair of like baggy sweatpants from the 80s. They're great. Okay, let's.
Z Cavaricci's coming
that?
back. Pants. You didn't have.
Were
the
those
Z
the
Cavaricci?
like
The
Zach
80s.
Morris,
Yeah.
AC Slater style? Or are they like Zubaz?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little maybe
like MC Hammer pants.
that was middle. Yeah, that was middle school.
Well, that's a
Excuse
good
me, you
segue.
skipped me. You skipped me.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I like your excuse me. I mean, last but certainly not least, Erica, what were your favorite purchases?
Don't forget about
Stand up.
those of us at the kids' table.
Yeah. Aww.
My
You're also,
favorite
like,
purchase was a booster seat.
Erica's wearing her favorite purchase, so she
No,
just
I
stood
have.
up. And wait, stand up. What does it
Actually,
say?
the
You can
kids'
do it.
table thing is.
Oh,
You can do
Amazing.
it. Just
Oh.
focus. You're great. That's the sort of encouragement you need
Love
for
it.
the kids' table, you know?
I love
Also,
that.
you're
So
sitting lower than everyone else, so you look like you're sitting at a kid's table.
Listen. Something about this. This was a free laptop I got from my brother-in-law, so I'm not complaining about that. But the camera is like at the base, so it's a very weird place. So I'm sitting on pillows. My chair is raised. My desk chair is raised as high as it'll go. I have 2 pillows underneath me. I am not a short person, so this is just weird in itself. So it really fits the kids' table
It does.
image that we have going on for me, and that I'm wearing a pink kitty cat sweatshirt. All of this
Tie-dye.
tie-dye, all of this fits. So one of my favorite purchases was this sweatshirt. Another one was very simple that I don't know why I didn't think about for so long, but my 25-year-old Lexus has a tape deck, which was essentially why I bought it, so I could play my, high school mixtapes in it. That's the only reason I bought it.
Okay, I was literally just thinking about that the other day. I had one of those when I was younger, like the tape adapter thing. And I know that it's 2023 and most of us can play music from Bluetooth in our cars, but the tape adapter like always worked and never disconnected randomly.
Yeah. Well,
It's more
so
consistent than Bluetooth. You're right.
we had an adapter that someone gave us. It broke, and I just never looked into how we do Bluetooth. I was like, there has to be something out there. And then I found a converter for our phone, and it's not perfect, but it's good enough. And I can play our podcasts, these podcasts, Liz's podcasts on my 25-year-old car. And it was like, $17 total for this, only, however many years later till I remember to actually look into doing this. But it's been a game changer in the car. The other one, kind of like Liz, is I finally joined a gym, and since the pandemic, I stopped going, and I was like, I don't want to spend the money. And it's actually been a great investment. And
That's awesome.
I hold myself accountable and go as often as I can.
Does your gym have a sauna?
No. So I joined Orange Theory, which I hate. It's such a cult, but it's right by my house, and they were running a good deal, and they're all over, so I can go when I travel for work or visit my dad or something. But they have a rower, so I really got into the rower. But I'm going to join the yoga studio up the street from my house, and they have a sauna, and they also have an infrared sauna.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. The book I mentioned, Outlive, one of my other big takeaways from that book was there's a study. So sitting in a sauna 4 days a week for 20 minutes reduces your chance of Alzheimer's by 67%.
Wow. Greg
That's
and I have been
amazing.
talking about getting a sauna. That might be the stat we need. But we need to kick a kid out of our house to have room for it.
Small price to pay.
Yeah. Small price to pay for a 67% reduction in
Exactly.
It's actually a gift for the kids because they're the ones that are going to be dealing with us if
We don't have to take care of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is an investment in all of our futures.
I'm going to tell Anna I need 3 feet in her room now to install this sauna. I'll be like, but you can
Okay,
use
they
it
make
too.
one that's like a little sleeping bag,
I've seen
and
those.
I've had it in and out of my shopping cart several times this year. I can't decide.
I feel like you have the room.
Can you get
could
it
go
and just
big
give us a product
install one.
review? Because
I follow someone on Instagram who has that sleeping bag style, and they say it's okay.
Really? Yeah, I think I would do that. I'm afraid to put a real one, like a little standing room one, because I don't want to be in charge of maintaining that. I think I would just set my house on fire. I know someone whose house caught on fire from sauna. So
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
thank you.
Hmm.
I just go to the gym. Use the one there.
Greg asked if we could get rid of the bathtub in our master bathroom, which we don't ever use, and put a sauna there.
You could probably or install maybe like a steam
That's a good
shower. I think
idea.
a steam sauna is supposed to be the same effect.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a steam shower. That's my jam.
I just ride my bike in Atlanta. I get a sauna experience every day.
It probably has a similar effect.
Well, I think you're getting your
Yeah.
67% reduction, Andrew.
I hope so.
Okay. Does anyone have any regrets, like worst product, worst purchase, something you feel not good about?
Yeah, this sweatshirt.
I love it. Like 5 minutes ago, it was your top purchase. It looks good on you.
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah,
regret it.
Thank you. Again,
Yeah, I
just
love it
seeking
too.
validation at all times.
Yeah.
Think so.
And when you're at the kids' table, you need to have on like a pink cat tie-dye sweatshirt. Who else? They're not going to take you seriously.
I have to
without it, you
stand
know?
out.
Yeah, I love it. And you sent me a postcard that has the same cat and phrase on it, and I like it very much. It sits on my cabinet right over there. I look at it. Any regrets, Stash? Andrew?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Liz?
I guess the mustache was free, so you can't regret.
Yeah, right, exactly. It doesn't count as a purchase. Crystal absolutely would have
regret
voted
it.
as
Yeah.
yes. If there was a financial component of the mustache, she
I
would
mean,
have
you're
voted
saving
as the
money
worst.
on like your
Yeah.
electric raise, you know, like a little bit of electricity, maybe like 4 cents of electricity.
This was a tough question to think about ahead of time. There were definitely purchases that like didn't bring joy, like some medical bills, some vet bills. But I think we had a car repair earlier in the year and they were like, oh, like we could do it now or you could wait and do it later. And I said, well, just do it now. Like, what's the point of waiting? And then I have to come back in again. And it was $4,000. And then a couple months later, I ended up buying a new car anyways. And so I wish I hadn't spent $4,000 to repair the car that I no longer drive.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's hard to predict that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but those ones are always annoying.
Car repair.
Like whenever you don't receive any value, like when you lay out a huge sum of money and you get zero value
It's
back.
so
right?
unsatisfying. Like at least if you take your car in and it's making a rattle or something or it's making a weird sound and they fix it. But this is just like you had no way of knowing this was broken. You will experience life no differently once we fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Greg and I always talk about, or Greg, you frequently bring up the cost, what you paid for the Tesla versus what they're like. They lowered the price so many times, and he's like, you know, we could have gotten this model with a third row in it for like less than what we paid for. But you know, this is in the grand scheme of things. These things don't matter. I don't mean they don't matter, but you know what I mean. Like
They're not real
frustrating.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not real problems, but they are. But you know what I mean. Like they're in
They're annoyances.
Yeah,
Disturbances.
I think, Liz, I know you have this perspective too, but that I'm super thankful that, you know, you can deal with a $4,000 car repair that was annoying. Yes, disturbances, good words, but like it's not breaking you. So it's good that the worst thing that happens to us or the worst, our regrettable purchases are just, you know, like in the end.
Yeah, it doesn't put you at risk of having food or a roof over your head.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't really think of any regrettable purchases other than my braces, but they're doing something. I don't like them, but they're doing something. So I don't really regret them per se, but I don't like them.
I use this like spreadsheet to track money that just like, you know, the kind of spreadsheets people sell on Etsy. And the one I have, it has next to each transaction, you can choose an emoji like for your feelings. Like, did this purchase bring me a lot of joy? Did it make me sad? Did it make me like make the like grimace like this face?
Yeah. I like that. Is that the My Wealth dashboard one?
It is, yeah.
I bought it. I've not opened it yet, but I'm excited to. I'm going to use it next year.
Love it.
Erica, what were you about to say?
I was going to say, I feel like Andrew's mustache has been like the focus where normally I make fun of your adult mouth braces, but now we get to make fun of
It's why I keep
Andrew's
making
mustache,
reference to
which
it.
I've now gone up the pecking order right here, like, and I'm now at the top of the list.
Yeah, but dogging on people is my love language.
Me too, Erica. It's also my love language. That's why when I was making a joke about Liz Gets Loaded earlier, I was like, oh, I hope I didn't really hurt your feelings because I was totally, that is my love language. Like, I'm totally.
I don't even remember.
Oh, good. Great. Stupid. I don't know who did that. Anyways. Okay. So, okay. Well, I'm glad we've got some nice, you know, fun wins of like interesting things we bought this year, but I'm glad that there's not a big list of regrets. Well done, Inside Out Money crew.
Good job, team.
Okay, so let's real quick talk about some of the biggest financial news of 2023. A lot of things happened this year in the economy. This was an interesting year economically, financially, however you want to say it. Mortgage rates are at like a record high. They're like in the high 8s right now, I think still. That sounds about right?
7.5.
Yeah. I mean, some of like a couple weeks ago, they were like above 8.
Yeah, they've come down a little bit.
So I'm exaggerative even when I say I don't know if they actually ever made to the heights. Look, nobody should take this as the real financial news of 2023. But something like mortgage rates were high yield interest rates in general were at a record high. So like high yield saving rates, like we're getting 5.5% at Wealthfront right now. We were just pushing on Greg's mom to like make sure she moved all of her money into that because it's a really high rate right now. The US stock market is up like 20% year to date, which is like bananas, to quote Liz Gets Loaded. And
yep, raise the roof on that.
I mean, look, I don't get too excited about stuff like that because I'm like, what goes up will come down eventually, but long term it'll go up. And there's just like,
up into
there's
right.
like crazy stuff that happened with like the Sam Altman and like what happened at OpenAI. I mean, there's a lot of like fascinating things that have happened financially in the world this year.
Well, I read one article that said that consumer debt is at an all-time high, but then another article came out and said that for many people, their debt is lower than it's been. Like it's come down on average $7,000 per person since 2017, but for a subgroup of people, it's extremely, their debt has gone up. So it's these weird kind of contradictions almost in what we're seeing happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, do not seem logical or explainable in terms of like how well the market's doing versus, how some other things are doing. Also, I totally forgot about this, but like, because it feels like it was years ago, but 3 of the largest banks collapsed in US history in Q1, right at the end of Q1 of this year, which again, felt like it was in a different year.
Just to be 3 of the largest like bank collapses happened this year, not 3 of our biggest banks collapsed.
Yes, thank you.
I was like, what?
3 of the largest bank collapses in US history. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That was confusing.
That does feel like it wasn't even this year. That feels so
I know.
long.
I would have sworn that was a different year. And there's all these like warning signs looming, right? Like Greg was talking about. You were talking about consumer debt, Greg, right? But also our federal debt is at an all-time high, and there's a lot of questions about how it's ever going to get paid. And I mean, there always have been, but I think it's been more so recently. But all that being said, there's like one piece of news that I feel like rocked many of our worlds, our little tiny worlds. And what was it?
Mint announced they were shutting down.
Sad times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Erica, does the landlord use Mint?
No, I had it. I used it, aka I had the app on my phone. So
okay,
the landlord uses like old-fashioned spreadsheet.
Okay. Well, I know we all used. I mean, other than the landlord, we all use Mint in different ways. Some like Liz, you fed it into another tool. I think we used it more directly, Andrew and our crew. But sad times, yeah.
Yeah, I started using it in 2007.
I started in 2008. It is like wild. Yeah. It's just been such a part of my life for so long.
I will say it's sad, but like similar to Greg's response, where I thought Greg was going to have like a much bigger response. He was kind of like, I think he was like, I don't even like love Mint. Like I have like a love-hate relationship with Mint. It was free, so I dealt with a lot of crap from it. Greg dealt with a lot of crap from it. And then I would listen to Greg deal with a lot of crap from it.
Yeah, I was happy in a way because it was like, oh, there's not this free tool. I guess that's okay to go spend a little money on a better tool. So at the end of the day, I'm actually kind of happy about it.
On the flip side, I think like we've switched to Monarch. We did a whole episode on it. We can put in the show notes. Andrew, you're trying Monarch out?
I spent 3 or 4 hours last night trying to migrate everything over. I have 18,000 transactions in Mint, so with lots and lots of accounts. So it was definitely a process, and I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm getting there.
Oh, we're not really trying to move our history in there. We're just using it going forward.
I'm moving all the history in.
Because we have our history in spreadsheets, because we always kind of put Mint into another sheet anyways.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying like don't feel like you had to do that.
Yeah.
Don't forget that 50% off code on Monarch.
I did utilize that. So I'm going to try it out for December and see how I like it and see what I think. And then Liz, I know you're a big YNAB fan, but you're thinking about it?
I know. Well, so I moved off of Mint like a year and a half ago, I think, because you know how you always had to refresh your accounts in Mint and like re-enter your stuff, which was fine. But eventually I could enter my password 100 times and it was like, nope, we've never heard of that bank. We don't know who they are. And it was like my main checking account. And I was like, I really need you. This isn't going to work. So I switched over to You Need a Budget YNAB, which there's some things I really like about it and some things I don't. The thing I like about it the most is that it puts all your transactions in like an inbox basically. And so you have to approve each one. Because the problem with Mint is it would just categorize stuff. And if you didn't catch it,
right,
like it just kind of got swept away with the other 18,000 transactions. You really had to keep an eye out. And then Maggie, your episode about Monarch made me realize that Monarch Money has a similar feature. It's a little bit of a workaround, but you can basically set a rule to mark all of your transactions as they come in as needs review. So you can sort of force it to like let you look at each one. And so I've been playing around with it and I really like it.
Yeah, cool. I didn't realize you were like even considering, because I feel like YNAB, like I said, their fans are big fans.
I definitely thought Andrew said, Liz, something about wine app. And I was like, go on. And then I forgot we were on the...
I saw you perk up there a little bit, Erica. And then
yeah, I was like, wine app? What are we talking about now? Did you notice I was like dozing off here? But I'm actually downloading these apps. Maybe I'm going to try them both out and see what works for the kids' table over here.
I think you and the landlord would like Monarch better. It's less of a learning curve, but that's just my gut.
Okay.
I agree. I mean, I like You Need a Budget. I didn't realize until I started using Monarch again how much I really value the snapshot of like, here's your income for the month and here's your expenses for the month. And that's something YNAB shows you, but only if you like kind of go in and look at a report, because it's all about, it's a totally different.
Like assigning every dollar. And
yeah, it's more of like an envelope system. It's like, here's how much money you have in a bunch of different categories, not like, here's what you're expecting to come in for the month and go out for the month. And I just keep finding myself opening the app and looking at it like I used to obsessively on Mint for 10 years, 10 plus years. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I love this.
yeah. Okay. Well, let's switch to everybody sharing some like big personal financial wins or news. Like, how did your year go financially and like what went well for you or not well, whatever you want to share?
Yeah. Well, Greg, you and Maggie had a big year.
we did. Yeah, it was our first full
Greg was
year.
like, did we?
No, I just didn't know if you were. I didn't want to, steal your
Go
thunder.
first.
But our first full year of early retirement, and so it was a very interesting year for us, and obviously very very fortunate to be able to even say that. But I think it went pretty well. We both just did our
Net worth
tracking, and obviously in large part to the market being up so much, but our net worth has grown even through a year of retirement. So that is pretty exciting.
Yeah. I was just, Greg and I were just reflecting on that. I was like, even though it's sort of, I say like fake because it's market based and like we're not pulling out all the money now, so we haven't realized those returns, but it does still feel good psychologically to have left work, given up big paychecks, spent money over the last year. And we have some money coming in from DCP and rental properties and stuff, but spent more than we earned.
Don't forget the Uber. I mean,
and Uber, baby.
Bringing in,
That's right.
I mean, at least a couple $100 a month on that sucker.
It's not called Uber. We now in our house call it Gruber because Greg is driving Uber, but Gruber also. The kids call it that too. And so, yeah, that is still, we're spending more than we make. I'll put it that way. But yeah, so it feels good to not have like depleted feels good because it's early and you don't want to like feel like you're, spending your money too fast. And it's our first year on the marketplace with marketplace insurance. We'll have to do an episode in like a few months on that, Greg, because we've got a lot of lessons learned from that. Like we pretty heavily miscalculated our income when we did it. And so we'll pay back some subsidies. Our insurance was cheaper than we expected it to be, but good problem to have in a way, I guess, because that was income. But yeah, it's been a good year. What about you, Erica?
Yeah, it's been a really good year for me. I started a new job at the beginning of the year. I'd been with my last company for 13 years. So just needing a change.
Wow. It's a long time.
Yeah, it was, sometimes you don't even realize it till you've made the change. And in that, I was able to negotiate like a salary that felt like one that I know that I had been grossly underpaid, even though my former company was like, you are at market. And then turns out when you go to the market, you get a different story. So Maggie, kudos to you because you really helped me.
Some market.
Yeah, someone's market, just not the one that really is what dictates how people get paid. So, help negotiate a salary that felt more commensurate with my experience. But then going back to what we were talking about earlier about like whether money makes you happier, it's like glad that I helped negotiate that salary for myself. And thanks to you and some other friends too, Maggie, who helped me with that. But also like, I just am so much happier with this new company. Needing the change, it's a different experience, different sometimes you just need a different challenge. And so all the things have been really great so far with that. But the other big thing too is the landlord and I are looking at it's open enrollment or just closed, but we were comparing our insurance or benefits for next year. And we are going to try out an HSA for the first time, which is something he's wanted for years. And I have been very
See the way
anti.
Liz's face.
I know. And I listened to y'all's podcast talking about it and was like, like, don't let the landlord ever hear this episode. But then there were some things that you said that kind of resonated with me in a certain way. And the reason why I feel more open to it now is like our family's in a place where like our daughter had some surgeries that she needed as a baby, and like we couldn't have done that under an HSA. And so we needed some things that we needed the best insurance for that. And so I just, we utilize our insurance. We take advantage of anyway, we use insurance, or I do at least. And so now we'll just have to figure out, I'm using it as, let's see what this year looks like for us with an HSA. And, the landlord can pull out his spreadsheets and do the comparisons. But this was a big step for me. And yeah, it was like insanely cheap offering too from my company. So it's like, wow, this is a huge difference in like what you pay monthly.
Yeah, that's the whole
But not all
spirit.
companies offer that, which was the interesting thing.
There's a big range. I mean, I'm curious, and you don't have to share if it's too much, like what your actual family deductible is, because Maggie, you and Andrew were just doing an episode and talking about how sometimes the family deductible is like 8 to 12K. I was just looking at my company's, the family deductible on the high deductible plan is I think $3,600, like whatever
That's
the minimum.
incredibly low.
Yeah.
That's super low.
Mm-hmm.
What is yours, Erica? Do you remember?
Um,
The marketplace, while you're looking, Erica, if you even can look, the marketplace HSA plan that we were looking at, which we're not going to do now for a bunch of reasons, but is like 14 or 18,000. Maybe the one in my company was like 18,000. The marketplace one might have been 14 or 15. It was in the
Yeah,
teens.
I think our out-of-pocket max for a family is on my company's plans is, I want to say it's maybe it's 8,000.
That barely a high deductible plan. I mean, that's like at the low end of it.
yeah, I'll have to get back to y'all on that because it's on my work computer. But it wasn't like sticker shock high. No, that was the thing, is like it wasn't sticker shock high. I think when you said, Liz, 3,600 for the family, I think it might have been that. And we got like the middle of the road HSA plan because they're actually like giving you money for your HSA to take this plan. So I was like, well, that seems like a no-brainer.
That's nice that your company also gives you money, which not all do. That's awesome. Well, that's a good move. And I think,
Yeah, again, another reason why I'm glad, made the change.
yeah, I think it's great you did that, Erica. And I think your mindset is right around like, let's try it for a year. Let's see how you feel. Let's see how actual medical expenses pan out. You can never quite predict it. So good job.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna do speed rounds, guys. Andrew, what are some big wins for you this year?
Yeah, I think more just overall lifestyle. So we're on track to spend about 80K this year, which will be the lowest in the last 4 years or so. So
Impressive.
feel good about that, and sold a lot of bike stuff in order to buy bike stuff. So that was kind of my goal at the beginning of the year, and I've held mostly to that. So overall kind of annual spend, and what I refer to as like the ongoing lifestyle is we're maintaining. So
That's awesome. 80K
That's a
is
good one.
awesome for a family of 4.
Yeah, that's really low. That'd be low for a family of 2.
Liz, isn't 80K? I'm just joking.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I can't wait to do our expense review in January for.
I can't
we
wait.
can all open up Monarch and see how we're
yes,
doing.
yes.
Oh yeah, that'll be
Yep. And Erica's got
we'll
to,
try to move
landlord,
on.
maybe we get a special guest to come on.
You should just keep it a surprise. Like, don't tell him what it is. Just be like, it's important to me and I need you to join something.
It's also hilarious because he's outside my window right now and I just see like a giant ladder moving around. So he's landlording as we speak.
Oh, wow.
That's a good skill to have.
Okay, Liz,
I had a couple.
what about you?
I had a couple big wins this year. Number one, no major home repairs. Knock on wood. There's still a few weeks left in the year. But the last 2 years, we spent more than $15,000 each year on like roofs and landscaping and plumbing and all the things. So this year we're at 2,000, which is amazing. Related, it's the longest story in the world, but we had really expensive homeowners insurance and we saved like $5,000 by switching plans. It was bananas. And then lastly, it's so interesting, Erica, you mentioned, your company reviewing your salary to make sure that it's market-based. So I actually got a much bigger raise than I was expecting because I have the best boss in the world. She's amazing and really wanted to bring me up to basically like the 50th percentile of market compensation for my role. So I was very pleasantly surprised by that. Like I like to give, there's so many stories about companies like trying to pay people as little as possible. And so when a manager or a company gets it right, it's so good to see.
I agree. That's awesome.
That's great. I think people forget that there are two sides to the equation, right? You can cut your expenses and live and grow wealth that way. But the other side is just as important. Growing your income can have a huge impact on the overall trajectory.
Definitely the easier one, for sure. I mean, not easier to get, easier to experience and live with.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to everyone. I feel like everyone's had a great year.
Nice work, Liz.
I think collectively we've had an awesome year because this group all did one thing together, which not one of us could have done on our own. And we launched Inside Out Money. So I just want to give a huge thank you to all of you, Liz, Greg, Erica, and Andrew, even the stash, because you've been here for a month or so now. And I'm just having like a really good time doing this with you guys and connecting with you all. And I love the variety. I like the adults table. I like the kids table. I like all the tables. And it's been awesome. So it's been one of the coolest things I've done this year for sure.
Thanks for pulling us all together, Maggie. It's been a lot of fun. I think definitely all of us bring different perspectives. I always enjoy listening on Monday morning and seeing what everyone else is bringing to the table. And it's been good.
Cool.
Yeah, me too. It's like the first thing I listen to on Monday morning.
Aw. Okay, so we'll share a few like Inside Out Money stats, but for the sake of time, we'll keep it moving. So we launched May 15th, 2023. We've had 33 episodes so far this year. We haven't missed a week yet. Honestly,
we haven't missed a week yet. Nice job.
It was a good, yeah.
That was a big goal for you, Maggie, right? You always said you never missed a week on Friends
I've
on
never
Fire.
cut it this far to the wire. Like we're recording this on a Saturday afternoon. I have a fairly busy like rest of day, and the podcast launches Sunday night. I do not have a podcast edited for tomorrow night. It's the first time I've ever gotten this close on things. It's a long story. It's not that long of a story. I've just been procrastinating. So anyways, but there will be one. Don't you worry. Anyways, yes, that is my commitment. And usually it's a little bit easier, but I'm a little bit behind.
Can I interrupt and ask a quick question?
Sure.
Greg, have you listened to one episode yet?
I have, yes.
Which
Was
one?
it your own?
No, actually, no. I did listen to Andrew's about mortgages because I edited that one. So, and
can I rephrase the question? Have you listened to an episode that you didn't edit?
Yeah, I listened to one of Liz's, but I just can't remember which one exactly.
Must have been memorable. Okay. Well, this will come back into play when we get to the superlatives at the end of this, because I just recently added a
I
superlative.
had completely forgotten
read
that
it when we
Greg
get
doesn't
down
listen.
there.
That's great.
Okay. Greg's busy, he's retired.
Yeah, he's busy taking care of you, carrying your stuff around.
I know.
It takes a toll on you, carrying those credit cards and chapstick.
It's an emotional toll. So anyways, Inside Out Money, doing awesome. We've had, I think what's cool to me too is that like, I was concerned when Friends on Fire shut down or ended, retired, whatever you want to call it, that we would lose a lot of listeners, but they really stayed. And that was cool to see. So the fact that it kind of hit the ground running like very quickly was awesome to see. Okay, Liz, you wanted to hear top episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but only if
I want to hear. You're number 2 and 3.
Yes.
Andrew's sandwiching you on 1 and 4.
Listeners,
I like to win. Thank you, listeners. Appreciate the downloads.
I don't know if it's about the person or the topic, but you guys.
It's definitely about the person.
Y'all can think whatever
absolutely
you
the
like.
person.
The mustache. It could be many things. So I'll double check this real quick, just for your sake, Liz. I will double check that since I put these in, it has not changed.
I've just been playing my own episodes in the house
over and over.
This is like going back to the instant replay to see if Liz won or not.
I'm just happy to be invited to the table, so it doesn't even matter if I
Erica,
made
you're in
the
the
top
top
10.
10. You're in the top 10.
Good.
Everybody's in the top 10.
I was lying. I really was hoping that mine would be somewhere on there.
It's actually pretty even, I think. Like it's fairly even. I think everyone is like in the top 10 twice.
Yeah.
You're right.
like
There's a good distribution. You're right. Okay, so number one most popular episode is episode 22. How much do you need to retire? Flaws in the 4% rule. I think that is. I'm not knocking you, Andrew. You're an awesome co-host. I get great feedback about you. But that topic, I think in particular, is a very popular topic.
You and I talked about this. It's kind of like the essence of personal finance, right?
It's one of people's biggest questions.
That was a little bit of a layup.
Yeah. You also did a great job. Number 2 is episode 7. Do $118 yoga pants make you happier? Lifestyle creep and lifestyle satisfaction with Liz from Liz Gets Loaded.
Amazing
I like the
title.
contrast of these two. Yeah. It's like the contrast of these two is great. Right?
It's a great title. Liz, you're the best at titling episodes. You title many. I often am like texting her right before I post something and I'm like, help me name that.
I was wondering who does that.
Sometimes I do it. When they're bad, you can tell I've done it. When they're good, you can tell Liz has done it.
You should crowdsource this group and we can help you come up with titles.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like overwhelming when I get too many opinions because I'll even like go between like Liz and Greg and I'm like, I don't know. You guys both have different opinions. Okay. So number 3 was episode 11, Die with Zero, 5 takeaways from the anti-frugal book that should have been a blog. Number 4 was episode 24, The Surprising Truth of Early Retirement, 500 Days Early Retired. That's with Gregory, aka Gruber. Number 5 was with Erica. Episode 21, What is Enough? That was one of my titles. Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, episode 25, Our Biggest Financial Regrets and What We'd Have Done Differently.
Was that a group?
Was with me and Erica. Nope.
No, it was you and me.
That was you and me, Andrew.
And I was like, hold on.
I'm like, I remember that.
All in all of these episodes, let's be clear.
Yeah.
Next one was episode 5, Reflections on 1 Year of Early Retirement. That was with Greg. Next one was episode 8, Save or Splurge, Being Intentional with Your Spending. That was with Erica.
Mm-hmm.
Next was episode 15 with Chris Hutchins, All the Financial Hacks.
I'm just impressed that we all beat out Chris Hutchins.
Yeah, right. For real. And then episode 4 was with Liz, The Easiest Way to Be Thin and Rich. Also a provocative title.
I really like that one. That one resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I like all these are like little, your babies. You're like, I love all the babies. I can't choose my favorite. So well done to everybody. Yeah. And I think you're right. It was very distributed. Like there were like 2 of everybody's on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's wrap this episode up with some fun superlatives. Okay. I'm just going to throw these out. You guys, and if you guys have better superlatives, feel free to put some in, we'll just like throw them off. If you come up with one, let's go with most likely to not listen to the podcast.
Greg.
1, 2, 3.
Greg.
Okay.
Can we go back to that? So my kids created this little jingle. So Greg is the main character in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And so my kids created this jingle and I get it wrong every time, but it's basically like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, Greg. And so you've been talking about Greg so much, I'm just like giggling. I got to get my kids to do it. It's like the Nintendo song and getting it wrong, but
we should redo that. Most likely to not listen to the podcast.
Greg.
Oh, you guys, you're making me blush.
Greg, we're going to guilt you into listening.
Greg, just take your shirt off and sit there and look pretty, okay? Okay, so how about this one? Most likely to have a spreadsheet that answers some question.
That's obviously Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah. Andrew.
Guilty.
Greg has some nice spreadsheets too, but I'd vote Andrew for that one.
Andrew, are your spreadsheets color coded?
They can be.
Okay.
Depending, the colors have to serve a purpose.
Do you mean like conditional formatting colors? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always do like blue cells or input cells. Like I follow some standard practices on my sheets, but
I like your answer of like, well, it has to serve a purpose. It's not going to be colorful just to be colorful.
Correct.
It does serve a purpose to look pretty.
Yeah, I'm with Liz on this.
Good user experience design.
Yeah.
Colors have to serve a purpose.
Okay. Most likely to sell their Bitcoin at the worst possible time.
Maggie.
Greg and Maggie. Maggie and Greg, we both sold chunks of Bitcoin.
I feel
it went up
slightly responsible for that.
It's not your fault. I would like, I had been, let me just alleviate you of that concern. We had been thinking about it for a very long time. And so like, that was not, but it was weird timing that like, it had not like rebounded in like years. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, I was like, what the?
This is why it is dangerous giving financial advice to your friends and family.
I
you always got to put a disclaimer in there. Like,
I agree. And I don't ever hold anyone personally. I do hold you personally accountable for not sending me the Simple Path to Wealth in the early 2000s.
Yep.
But we're going to let the Bitcoin one go, Andrew. Okay. Most likely, who put this one in? Most likely to go over budget on travel, food, clothes, electronics, and fitness.
Oh, I was thinking we do each one. Like most likely to go over.
I thought someone else put that in about you.
I would assumed it was me to the kids' table to go over budget on all that stuff.
Oh, no, I thought it was Liz.
I was going Liz on that one.
I think most likely to go over budget on travel would be Maggie and Greg.
That's
Probably
fair.
What was that Europe trip last year?
That
travel.
was a lot.
You're
That
right.
was a
If we go
once in a lifetime.
Let's break it out.
Yeah,
That's
it was
fine.
a once
I'm
in a
not saying you
lifetime,
shouldn't
but we
spend
spent
it.
a similar amount this past summer, Greg. So
Well,
On
yeah,
twice
but
in a
that was twice in a lifetime.
on half the amount of time we splurged. Okay. Yeah. Most likely to go over budget on fitness equipment.
Liz.
I
No,
or
me.
you, your treadmill.
Me,
It
I'm-
was
fair.
my
Oh,
rower.
actually, Andrew's bikes cost more than
My-
all of us.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
My $20,000 on bikes is crushing
Yeah.
all of you.
Okay. Well,
I
never
was
mind.
thinking Andrew originally for that one.
Man, this makes me feel a lot better about my $100 yoga mat then.
Yeah. It's nothing. Most likely to retire next.
Oh.
Andrew?
That's a
Somewhere
tough
between
one.
Andrew and Liz. I don't know. It's a toss.
I feel like Liz
Plays
will
with
be that person who will just keep working thinking that she never has enough. And then, like you said, you and Maggie talked about like a little bit the bag lady syndrome. And like,
Yeah.
at what point will you be comfortable with what you have to be like, yep, this is enough. Now I'm going to call it.
I think that's a really good call out. I think I will be too anxious to retire. I keep saying I'm going to retire in 5 years, but I've been saying that for 3 years. So Andrew is just like math computes will retire.
But you both enjoy your jobs is part of the issue too. Not issue, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if you were miserable, I think you both would pull the cord faster.
I agree.
Yeah. Happiness at work definitely is a big driving factor of that.
Most likely to purchase a tie-dye cat sweatshirt.
Well, that one's a toss up. That could
I
be
was gonna
you
say
or
that's
me,
a
Maggie.
possibility.
Well,
Me and you.
that's very true.
Had I encountered that sweatshirt before you, I would be wearing it right now. And if there was only one left. Well, I don't know. You guys got any other ones? Some of these are like, I don't know. Well, I might have written them in, but if you got a good one. Who wrote
Yeah.
and guess what?
I
I
don't know. That was on there. And then I saw most likely to switch jobs or go back to work. And I was wondering if
I don't know who wrote that.
Maggie or Maggie had some news.
Oh, no. Maybe someone wrote that for us, not me.
I wrote the switch jobs or go back to work.
Oh, you want to read it?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can, but I think that, like that one sort of fell flat when we were just saying it.
Okay. We'll try it.
Okay, actually, I do have a question. So, it sounds like we're all pretty happy. For those of us working, still happy in our jobs. Gruber's still going strong with the Tesla. But between Maggie and Greg, who do you think would be most likely to go back to work? Who's going to get to a point where like, no, I need something a little more than what is right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think
I'm going to go with.
And I feel
you
like
guys
y'all are
first.
going to be playing chicken with each other. Like, you go back to work.
Someone
No,
not-
you go back to work.
That's what we used to do on retiring. We used to be like, no, I'm going to quit first. But I feel like someone, not us, like Liz and Erica. Liz and Andrew should answer that.
I think if I had to guess, it would be Greg, based on you two did. I forget which episode it was recently, but you were kind of talking about your own challenges in retirement. And Maggie, I feel like you're like, I'm too busy, and Greg's a little bit like, I'm not busy enough, and so that's what I would base it on.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Based on my role in this relationship, that's what I have observed.
Greg would get a job carrying lots of women's driver's licenses. Get a job.
I was like, where are you going with the lots of women?
That's for another topic.
Driver's license holder.
Greg's gonna start an OnlyFans account where all he does is take his sweatshirt off and just tease it. And it just like a little bit comes up and he's like, oh no, I'm just taking the sweatshirt off.
Well, I'm going to borrow Erica's sweatshirt for it, though.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone out there with a fetish of guys wearing tie-dye cat sweatshirts and like almost taking their shirt off, but not quite.
It's funny you mentioned OnlyFans. I think the number one post on the Reddit Financial Independence forum for the year was a woman who went on and talked about her OnlyFans account and how much money she'd made on it and how she was retiring and all that. It was the number one post for the year.
Did she say what she's doing on OnlyFans?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I mean, I just mean that
if she made multiple millions on OnlyFans.
I'm sure it involves some level of like nudity and other things. My point was more like, sometimes there's like a real weird shtick. I don't mean weird, but you know what I mean? Like a real specific, like she's showing her feet and that's it, like.
Yeah, sorry. Don't put this in, but is OnlyFans like a fetish website?
Don't act like you don't know what OnlyFans is.
I have no idea.
Erica.
I really don't know.
The kids table does not get access to OnlyFans. If you want OnlyFans, you're going to have to send me an app.
Should I Google it from my work computer?
Don't Google. I don't even know how to describe OnlyFans. This is staying in, by the way, Erica. Okay, OnlyFans.
Should I Google it from somebody else's work computer, from the landlord's work computer? That sounds like a good plan.
Let me Google what is OnlyFans. I want to ask like ChatGPT or something. I don't even know.
Ask
Greg,
Alexa.
Greg, let's just have you give your best description of OnlyFans.
With your shirt
I've
off.
Heard. I mean, I have friends who tell me that it's a site where people basically it's like a direct subscription, I guess, porn site. I mean, I guess it's not just porn, but I think that's where the majority of the money comes from.
Porn.
But I do subscribe to specific people on there.
Yeah, it's like Patreon. The way you would do Patreon for a podcast, you would say like, oh, I really like Greg and how he takes his sweatshirts off. So I'm going to pay like what would you charge? Do you pick an amount? You say like it's $5 to be a member or something? I don't know exactly how it works.
I think it can vary based on the person, if they've got really good foot content,
But like the content producer sets the amount. Like you say like, oh, it's $5 for something access or it's $20 for full access. You can have like different levels. I really don't know. I'm not.
So can we put this on OnlyFans?
This would be more...
If you want to take your cat sweatshirt off.
Well, I'm going to send it to Greg first to do that. But I think that the first 5 minutes.
First off, you need to sit in a higher chair because we can only see your. I'm sorry. We can only see your face.
We've definitely gone off the deep end now.
Take that sweatshirt off. Then we can do an OnlyFans. Oh, this is awesome. Most likely to create an OnlyFans account.
Greg.
Erica.
Greg.
Erica.
I don't think we would. I don't think we'll make much money if I'm the star.
What is OnlyFans? Would you like to create an account? Oh, well, yes, I would. Thank you for asking.
Someone said when I Googled what is OnlyFans, you know how they have like the suggested questions? It said one of the ones was people also ask, what do people do on OnlyFans? And then it said, it said, where users can sell and or purchase original content. When utilized as an adult site, users will post NSFW, which is not safe for work, videos and photos to their accounts, which are protected by a paywall, which means like you have to pay to access. So yeah, there's your answer.
See, I would go on and I would just post like panda videos. Does that count?
I don't think you'd make that much money, but
I mean, you can do that.
Liz. You'd be surprised.
It's all supply and demand, so you can go and create whatever you'd like. But I think Andrew's point was whoever was making millions on OnlyFans, like, it's probably got some,
panda videos.
I was going to say good content. Yeah, panda videos.
Okay, side note, did you know that pandas have to watch panda porn to procreate?
Make babies?
At the zoo? Yes, this is true.
Interesting.
Because they just like, that's how they get excited?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then I don't know. You might have a shot at that.
Oh my gosh, Andrew's face is like, I joined this podcast to talk about compound growth.
And Andrew's like, I told
index funds.
I told my wife I needed to go record a podcast for 2 hours.
Yeah.
A financial podcast. Okay.
I now understand why I'm at the kids' table even more.
When we were at Camp Phi, though, OnlyFans was a recurring topic of people joking around about how, it could be an alternate revenue stream because it's
in early retirement.
I mean, as you said, there are people making real money from it.
Yeah.
Real money.
Good for those people, honestly. Like, if it gets you to where you need to be in life in a safe and meaningful, successful way, then go for it.
Well, and they're controlling the content as opposed to like being exploited,
direct.
You could say. I mean, they decide what they want to put up there. And so, it's...
I'm going to bring this back around to financial in this episode. So this is actually all financial. No, so Cash Cuties, which was one of Liz's favorite podcasts of the year, they brought on somebody who is, I don't know if they're on OnlyFans, but there's some sort of a sex worker, I think is that an appropriate term?
Yes.
Okay. I believe they use that term. And they brought someone on and like talked about the finances of it and like just even tipping culture and like all sorts of things. And so I'll put a link in the show notes because it's actually an interesting episode since we were just talking about something related. Okay, I think we're going to wrap this episode up because otherwise we might go more down various.
I've got to eat some food too.
Yeah, Andrew's hungry.
Rice cakes are
Mustache is
waiting.
hungry. Okay, so thank you guys. I hope I was saying thank you guys, like thank you to Liz, Andrew, Greg, and Erica for being a part of the Inside Out Money family, but also like a huge thank you to all the listeners because we've gotten lovely reviews from many of you. We get all sorts of comments and emails and Instagram comments and voicemails and all sorts of stuff. And we try to reply to all of them. If I haven't, ping us again because it's just an oversight. But we just appreciate you guys listening and supporting us. And by supporting us, just to clarify, this is a free podcast and it's ad free. So we just appreciate the emotional support and you guys listening and engaging because we do this for the love of it and probably not going to put the content behind an OnlyFans paywall. So it'll continue to be free for now. Okay. Well, anything you guys want to say before I wrap up? Okay. Anyone want to read the closer? Anyone?
I think we should.
Bueller?
We should do it as a group.
Let's all do it
like
together.
I'm terrible at reading. No,
Well, not
that's Ellie. No.
Let's do it. Anybody that wants to come in, we try to do it as a group and we just see what happens. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for
listening.
I know your time. We know your time.
No.
Erica, we didn't say the kids' table could talk on this one, okay?
Nope.
I'm just kidding. There's like a weird delay on Erica, so hey.
It's because I can't reach the mic. Too short.
I think the landlord needs to upgrade your internet access.
Oh my gosh, we so do.
We've
yeah.
discussed that. Can we sign a petition?
Yeah, that's
We'll
actually
send
on me.
landlord.
The landlord puts all those things on me. So
Okay, well you could do
Get
it.
the unified dream router.
But
What
it could
is
be
it?
the computer too. Now that we've learned,
I should have put that as one of my best purchases.
wait,
this year.
unified
what is that,
dream
Andrew?
router?
Yeah, so Unify is kind of like a high-end Wi-Fi system, and it's much more suited for offices, but they make some home stuff, and it's awesome.
Is there a specific one?
Yeah, so there's the thing called the Dream Router, and then you can put in these satellite hotspots as well. I've got 2 other satellite hotspots, and so I've got 3 throughout my house, and I have amazing coverage throughout the whole house.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Okay.
We have
I
the
might-
Google extenders, and they're not amazing. They're like okay.
Yeah, we have extenders, and I just
Is your house wired? Do you have Cat5 Ethernet in your house to different rooms?
probably not. Our house is 100 years old.
I'm gonna answer for her. No.
No. Yeah, so that's more
Thank you.
challenging. But I mean, the Dream Router by itself is a really good Wi-Fi access point, and you'd probably get good signal just with one of those.
Okay.
I'll send you a link.
Well, this is
Amazing.
also our
Yeah,
longest episode ever. So
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We're not even going to do the closing today, but just you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We love when you leave us reviews. Probably not on this episode. Don't leave us a review about this episode, but like some other episode. One of those
If
top
someone's
10s.
still listening, they're a true fan.
If you're still here, you're awesome. Actually, if you're still here, you send me a message. I'll send you a free sticker, okay? Send me a message on Instagram or somewhere. Happy to send you a free sticker. And you can text us, call us. Our number's 404-981-3370. Happy 2023 to everyone. We hope you have a great rest of the year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. All that jazz.
Yeah, we love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Okay.
bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.